on. They gon' let me rock cause I got more I'm gon' stand on. Welcome back, man. Welcome back. King Ken, man. Welcome back, bro. This is King Ken and Coach Von's show, man. Back again, man, to bring y'all some more content. Talking about NBA Summer League. Ken, bro, we missed you, man. We missed you, dog.
I miss you guys too. I was unfortunately impacted by Hurricane Beryl. And if you know anything about this storm that impacted Houston area, Houston Metro, as well as, the surrounding cities like Galveston and whatnot, it did so much damage to us, y'all. Like, we had to take shelter. It pretty much shut down the power. And I know you guys thinking power? No, power is a big deal when everything else is shut down in the city, and then the temperature is 101 degrees with plus humidity. It's crazy. I nearly dang near had a heat stroke. So that's how I had to literally lay in a cold tub of water, and just for like an hour, because it was that serious, y'all. So
wow, bro.
I just want to say, man, keep your heart and blessings in the state of Houston, in the state of Texas, particular to the Houston metro area. It was bad, y'all.
Sure, man. Well, we glad that
we back,
kids, bro. Yes, for sure, bro. I'm glad the kids safe. I'm glad you safe, bro. I'm glad that we back and we better. We got a lot to talk about, bro. We got a lot to talk about, man. We gonna start in Salt Lake City for the debut of the number 2 player on my board, number 1 player on your board, and Zach Edey, man. Zach Edey went out there, put on the show, man. Ended up finishing with 15 rebounds, 14 points, 4 blocks. Bro, I'll be honest, bro. He could have had 25 and 15 if you wanted. We just didn't. It takes a while to get used to playing with a big man who actually has that skill set. I feel like the guards in today's game are so used to slashing and doing the little things like that the easy things, like just throwing the ball down to your big man and letting them get a bucket when they're still in the man, takes a little bit getting used to when you're not used to doing it. You know what I mean? So he could have easily had 25 to 30 points, bro, if you watch. I'm actually pull up some of the highlights. And show the viewers, if they didn't get a chance to see it, they can see it here first. Show the viewers exactly what happened. And as Zach Edey, there we go. 1 second. But I'm not sure if you had a chance, Ken. I'm not sure if you had a chance to actually, view the game at all. I know you said you were dealing with the hurricane, but did you get a chance to catch it live?
Nah, I didn't, unfortunately.
You did it, but you got to see the highlights, and
I got to see the highlights. Yeah. And I got to listen to your opinion about it, because for me the big deal was, how did he do possession by possession? I know he's gonna put up highlights, but I want to know, possession by possession. You told me he was every bit as advertised as we believe, based on our scout. And I just never understood the athleticism claims. That was always what bothered me. Like, to me, I thought he was a freak athlete for his size, and people swelled up and down that he wasn't. And I'm like, look at this. Like, tell me, when has Boban looked anywhere near this at any point of his career?
Yeah, for sure. And
look how fast he's moving. Look how fast he's moving.
Beating everybody down the court. Like,
like it's hilarious. The claims were you know what? I've never seen so many awful opinions get shut down in literally 30 minutes.
Yeah, and his reaction time, bro. Like, I think the most impressive thing to me, which I didn't even expect, was just, you talked about him being quick. But when you see him next to another NBA big, Walker Kessler, I mean, he got dominated in this game. I'm gonna keep it 100. It could have been a lot worse than what it was. If they would have found Edey a lot more, he could have easily had 25 and 15 put on his head. But he's a legitimate NBA big man who played
he's
legitimate NBA minutes. You know what I mean?
He's beyond that. He's one of the best defensive centers in the league.
Exactly. And I think
this was a showcase.
Yeah.
To the NBA that Zach Edey is a problem.
Yeah, and he hasn't played since. But honestly, bro, I don't need to see anything else.
You really
Put him in
don't. It's
bubble
like,
wrap. Put him in bubble wrap, bro, and let's get it. Like, let's get it. Just put him in bubble wrap and let's go. I'm sure we'll see him again on. I think we play on Monday. I'm sure we'll see him on Monday. But man, I was super impressed with what I seen out there, bro. This play here, like, come on, man. Like they know that they needed to box him out, and they couldn't do anything about it. Anything about it. That's Cal Filipowski and Walker Kessler, two seven footers.
couldn't do nothing with him.
Do nothing about it, bro. So I'm definitely excited about it, and I think
Look
the
at
defense.
look at this! Look at the movement. Just look at the movement.
Oh
look at the
God.
movement. No, go back to this. Go back to this. No, go back to the beginning of the display.
But to the beginning,
I mean,
of
not
this
necessarily.
play,
Just to be, Watch this. Watch this. Watch him. Watch Edie's movement.
I love it. I love it.
This is somebody that they're talking about defensively would be a liability.
Man, his IQ was on full display, bro.
Look at this.
Be honest.
Look at that.
Oh my Lord.
My God, look at the decision making skills. Look at the decision making skills.
He was special, bro. I'm not gonna lie, he was special. As well as him in Salt Lake, the Ricky that's caught my eye. Let me talk a little bit about Jalen Wells first. Jalen Wells has not shot the ball well, which is it's so normal for rookies in summer league. You're asking them mid-summer to come out full force and put on the show, and like everybody's not that microwave player. It's literally whoever has the hot hand at that point. Typically playing in summer league, unless you're horrible, dreadful, it really doesn't matter. You want to see them play defense. You want to see them take the right shots. You want to see the movement. You want to see the possession to possession basketball. Even though summer league is up and down, helter skelter, you want to see your players that you drafted be able to do NBA type stuff in possession by possession basketball. Whether that's communicating on defense, sliding their feet, playmaking, on offense, sliding to drives, being able to carry the ball, like all those type of things. You want to see those things, the mechanics, the footwork look right. Everything has looked right with Jalen Wells on the offensive end. It's just not falling, bro. And like sometimes that's just what it is. He did have a really good game though. I think he had 27 in one of those games in Utah. He started like 1 for 7. He started 1 for 7 or 1 for 8. And then he went like 8 for 16 the rest of the game, 50%, and had a great game. But what I've been most impressed about.
Yeah, you're talking about that second game where he dropped 27, 6 and 3.
He hit the game winner. He hit the game winner shot too as well.
Man, that's impressive.
But I love his defense, bro. Like,
and he was a +7 in this game too.
Yes, and I love his defense, bro. Like, I'm gonna do a little breakdown on his defense sometime this week coming up. I'm gonna have a little bit of time on my hands.
Cam Spencer went insane that game though. Cam Spencer dropped 18, 7,
and
7.
I'm gonna get the Cam. I'm gonna get the Cam because I got a whole segment for Cam. But Jalen Wells' defense, he's probably been the best defender on this team, honestly. On this summer league team, he's probably been the best defender. Scottie Pippen has been pretty good as well, but he's fouled quite a bit, as well as Cam Spencer and Gigi. All of the guys have played really good defense. They forced, in the Vegas game yesterday, they forced 31 turnovers against the Sacramento Kings. So they've all been pretty good, but Jalen Wells has been by far the best defender. So he's going to be fine. To those people that are panicking in Grizzlies universe, he's going to be fine, bro. At the end of the day, what these coaches want to see, if you can play defense and you can play elite defense this early, you're going to get on the floor at some point. Yeah. When the coaches look to the end of the bench and you have a John Morant or a Desmond Bane and you just need somebody to go in there, play defense, run the floor, take open shots, when he looks at that bench now, because of what happened in Summer League, he's going to tell himself, Jalen Wells, of course, and he's gonna put him in. And I think he's done a really good job defensively. But Cam Spencer, Ken, you told me, man. You told me. I was so excited about Jalen Wells. I still am. But Cam Spencer is day one, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we can roll him out there tomorrow in a playoff game, and he will be able to hold his own.
He's not that much different. He's not much different than Bane. He's not much different. He's not much different than Bane.
I'll say this.
Mm-hmm.
To me, his decision making, he's darn near a genius, bro. Like, his decision making out there, bro, he's a special decision maker.
That's his strength.
He's a coach's dream.
Always makes the right decision. He's a possession by possession. What I realized when I watched Connecticut play was I realized Cam Spencer was like he was the darling in terms of like truly advanced analytics. He was their darling. And I mean, obviously, of course, you see the impact of Klingling, but Cam Spencer was always showing up at like the top of everything. And so I just started watching Cam Spencer play. I'm like, he's not that skilled. He's not that great of a shooter. He's a pretty damn good passer.
Yeah.
But he's always making the right decision and quickly.
Yeah.
He does it. He doesn't seem to make the bad decision. He doesn't seem to make bad decisions hardly.
At all. It's hard to find
it. It's hard to find the flaws in this kid.
Yeah. And even his bad decisions are like the one turnover that I've seen him have in Summer League. He comes past half court on a fast break. He puts a move on the defender, has a wide open three. But for some reason in his mind, I'm thinking shoot it. You got the high hand, shoot it. But for some reason in his mind, he's thinking time and clock. And he turns around and stops, tries to throw it to Scottie Pippen. But Scottie Pippen is like not ready for it. Mm-hmm. And then he throws the ball backcourt and it's a turnover. But even that turnover is just like
thinking.
Just shoot the ball. Like, I want you to shoot the ball. But it's a smart play. It's a smart play in terms of time clock management and where you were at in the game.
Al Horford has put it together a 18-year career, and he's still at a high level because he always makes the right decisions.
Yeah.
This kid is special, man. He's special. When I saw him in college, I was like, people are going to sleep on him and put him in the second round because he's not going to test as great. He's not going to, work out great. But he's just a basketball connoisseur, 5-on-5. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to make the right decisions. And somebody's going to get a steal. Yeah, and guess where he's going to? He's going to the team that, like I said, I keep telling people this year. Memphis being number one is something I'm expecting. I'm expecting Memphis to be the number one team in the West.
Hey, I hope so. I hope so, man.
I mean, it doesn't surprise me. I gave Memphis the highest grade in the draft. I think a lot of what they've been doing is great. And I think what people are probably down on them a little bit this year was how the injuries they had last year. But I feel like that was such an anomaly. Like Memphis has not been a hurt team like this till last year. And I mean, yes, they do have their fair share of injuries previous years, but it's nothing like it was this year, where it was like they were like one of the most injured teams we've seen in the last 5 years.
Yeah,
it was something crazy.
Yeah, and it was actually they talked about it during the broadcast of Summer League, and we had 55 different starting lineups, 33 different players on the roster, and it was the most injured players on the team since 1970.
Yeah.
Since 1970.
It was horrendous basketball a lot of times because they just couldn't get in sync. I mean, you had Desmond Bane playing with guys he never seen before. Like, who are you? What's your name? Oh, my name is Tommy Knox. Who is Tommy Knox? I don't know.
Nah, seriously, man. But I definitely want to say, you talked about, some of the things that Cam Spencer's wasn't that good at. I don't know, man. He looks like
I wouldn't say he's not. I wouldn't say he's not a shooter. I mean, but he's not.
It just doesn't pop.
It doesn't pop, is what I mean. Yeah. Like it's like when you're drafting somebody high, you want something, you want it to pop. You want him to be like, oh yeah, like when you draft Dalton Connect, he can shoot.
Mm-hmm.
You know that's what he does. He can shoot. He can shoot and score. When you draft, even like with him, look at it. What he does is decision make. That's
Yeah,
what Cam Spencer does at an elite level. He decision makes at an elite level. But
and
how is
he's
that
efficient.
measurable? Mhm. And he's efficient. And he knows when to take the right shot. He knows when to take the right. He knows when to make the right pass. He knows when to drive. He knows when to pump fake and then attack the paint. He can finish. He can attack the paint because he has a strong body, a strong core, so he can handle contact. He can finish with multiple. He can finish with so many different ways. He has the floater. He has the pull up. I mean, he has every little thing. He has everything, and he can score on all three levels with no. And he knows when to take the. Like I said, it's hard to find a dude like him.
Yeah, he's a triple double watch.
Mm-hmm.
Like when he's on, he's a triple double watch.
He knows how to.
Like,
He can rebound. He can rebound. That's another strength. Is he can rebound. He's a great rebounder.
Yes,
But look at his movement. Just look at his movement. Even though
he
he didn't get the
never stops
rebound
moving.
because they scored, he was constantly moving.
Yeah, never stops moving. And I think the thing that's most special to me is like just the consistency in his shot making. Like he can, like you said, he's so efficient in his shot making. He's never taken the tough shot. You know what I mean?
Never.
But he also will take the tough shot. You know what I mean? And knock it down by having efficient. You talk about what small movement, like he has that. You know what I mean? That small movement, like he has.
He does do a really good job of small movement, like redirecting. Like right here, he's
Yeah,
redirecting.
yeah,
Small movement is critical, man. I mean, he does a good job of small movement. But these are things that's hard to find. Like it's hard to find guys who make small. Like to me, small movement is more important than short movement, because short movement is scoring. For scoring, you prefer short movement. It's like cutting quick, making flashes, flares, stuff like that. So short
yeah,
movement is a little bit better for scoring, but small movement is better for like possession by possession play because you're constantly helping spacing. You see how he just makes a little bit of move, just a little move because he sees the way the way the ball is going. Like he knows how to play basketball at a high level mentally, and it's hard to find those guys, man. Like I'm
and
still looking for Danny Green.
and
I'm
there's
still
been a
looking.
lot of there's been a lot of discussion in the Grizzlies world about the potential because of how well he's playing. I mean, he might make a Luke Kennard a little bit expendable, like the way him and Jalen are playing.
Did Luke
I would
Kennard
love
resign?
that. He's going to.
Okay.
They rumored that he was. He hasn't yet, but I'm pretty sure that's because of some backdoor deal that him and management has
Yeah.
Prepared, set aside. But yeah, I would love to have that option though. I would love to have Luke on this team and have Cam kind of push him because at the deadline, teams are always going to be looking for guys like Luke Kennard.
Depth
You
is
know what I
critical,
mean?
man. Depth is critical, and so
Yes.
and with Cam, you still want him to work on the shooting a little bit more. You want him
Yeah.
to become more of a surefire shooter. But once he does that, and I think G League's going to help him just playing for Grind. It is Grind City, right? Yeah, just playing
It's
for Grind City.
Memphis Hustle.
Memphis Hustle. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll say they changed the name.
No.
So
It's always been Memphis Hustle, but that's our like hashtag. It's the Grind City. Like
So as far as him playing for the Hustle, I think I think he probably needs just a little bit more time. No, he doesn't really need it. But the thing is, you kind of want him to build up that shot, that jumper. You want that jumper to be more consistent because it was consistent there in this game, but you just want it to be a little bit more consistent at this point.
And I believe he's shooting something crazy from the field right now in Summer League.
Yeah.
But, everybody's going to hit that rookie wall. And we'll see, bro. We'll see. Because he can potentially...
I'm also going by what I've seen on just tape in college,
Yeah.
And just kind of what I've seen. But you're right, though. Like, he shot 66% in the last matchup. He had 15 points. He shot 60% from three, 66% from the field, 66.7% from the field, 4 assists, 3 steals, 1 turnover. Man, that's impressive.
Yeah, right now he's averaging 14.7 points per game, 4 assists, 53% from the 3-point line, 55% from the field, 4 1.3 rebounds and 1.7 steals.
And how many minutes?
It doesn't really say the minutes. I think he's somewhere around 23 or something like that.
Ooh, that's
Yeah,
crazy.
he's like somewhere around
he's a pro.
23, 25.
He's a pro. He's a pro.
Yeah, he's a pro, bro. He's ready. I think he's ready, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. I don't. It take me a while to come around to guys and say that, but he's promising, bro.
I loved him as a prospect. I felt like he was going to drop to the second round because I knew he wasn't going to test exceptionally well, and I knew when people bring him in for workouts, other guys are going to, they're going to do him because he's not like I said, he's a 5-on-5 guy.
Yeah.
But I always felt like if you have 5-on-5 scrimmages and like you kind of get like smart guys in there, he was going to shine.
Yeah.
And I know teams like Memphis do those 5-on-5 scrimmages and value them heavily because some guys will look good at 1-on-1, like Kevin Knox.
3-on-3,
they'll look,
1-on-1.
But they'll look bad at 5-on-5.
Yeah.
So Memphis don't miss. They really don't. I mean, I know they miss with Zaire, and I know you were talking about him, so you actually had strong opinion about Zaire. But I felt like with him, they might have missed a little bit, but it's still too early to decide. But
I don't know,
miss, man.
And with Zaire, I don't think they missed. I think because they hit so well on Desmond Bain, they were kind of feeling themselves, and they took a shot in the dark. But for what Zaire is, he can easily be a Jaden McDaniels if he's in a simplified role. But I think they wanted him to kind of expand on his playmaking, expand on his isolation scoring, and that was just a failed project. I'll be interested to see what he looks like in a more simplified role this year. But you're right, bro. You were right about this draft class as well, because I gave us a A, and you called it an A+.
I say A+. Best draft, best team, best draft. I think some people thought that maybe Minnesota had a better draft, and I felt like the Terrence Shannon pick was phenomenal, but I wasn't quite sold on the Robert Dillingham trade up.
Yeah.
But
I thought they had Bobby Clintman as well, but they traded him to Detroit, and that's one of my guys. But speaking of the top of the draft, speaking of spar movement, speaking of all of those things, Zachary Rissacher, man, number 1 pick for the Atlanta Hawks. I loved his debut, bro. Like I loved it. Like I loved his debut, and I just wanted to get your take on how you feel about new addition to the Hawks family, man.
Rissacher was way better than my scout. I had him as the number 3 overall prospect. Before at one point he was number 1, but he was constantly going between 1 and 2, and then he at the very end he fell to 3 just because I thought Klingling was good in Atlanta, which would have put Klingling in a different position. But with Klingling didn't go to Atlanta, he didn't go to Memphis, he didn't go to any of the teams I thought he was going to be with, teams that were trying to get him. So the team that he went to was the team that I'm like, oh man, he went there. He's not in my top 5 no more. Then I mean, in reality,
facts.
But Rissacher essentially is a player that I compared defensively to Jaden McDaniel, and offensively I compared him to Tony Snell and Kevin Huerter, and I can tell you I was wrong. I can tell you flat out, just day one I'm wrong.
Like that play right there. That play right there.
Like
that's different.
In transition, he's a lot like he's a lot like Ronnie Brewer.
Yeah.
Where it doesn't look like something, but he's moving. It seems like he's not moving super fast, but everybody else seems like they're moving in slow motion, but they're not.
Yeah.
So that's the Ronnie Brewer. Ronnie Brewer was like that when he played for Utah. Another thing
doesn't get sped up.
He doesn't get sped up ever. Watching the replay of the game, I came away with the idea that this dude's way better than I thought. Like possession by possession, he's constantly moving. Like the same thing we talked about Cam Spencer. He has it, although he doesn't quite have the decision making of Cam Spencer. He's constantly cutting, constantly moving. He actually got the post up game. Like we actually went to him in the post a couple of times, and each time he did damage. Each time he did damage.
That size was special.
The size, his ability on defense to cover ground was very much like Jaden McDaniel. So that was something I wasn't on defense. I was right. On offense, I was wrong. He just does a lot more than I thought. His self creation is so much better. His handles, is him handles its reminiscence of a rookie Jason Tatum, which is not great or nothing. It's not great, but it's promising. That means like he's going to have ability to beat you in ISO.
Yeah,
he has some ability. Like he's not going to be great isolation. He's not going to be a great isolation player. He's not going to be somebody you want to commit to isolation, but he's somebody that can he can get you a bucket.
Yeah,
I was very impressed with his movement. I was very like he was making Atlanta missed him on like 12 different cuts. On 12 different cuts, Atlanta missed him. He actually did some give and goes. Atlanta completely missed on him. It was to be honest with you, he put a master class if you're watching it from a possession by possession basketball level, and it's very easy to see how he can score like 27 points, and in a game in France in the playoffs. It's very easy to see how because he can score in so many different ways, man. And in my opinion, I don't really know any player like him in the NBA because you got to think about it. He got the short movement, he got the small movement. He got a quick trigger. He can get his shot off set. The one thing I will say, he needs to improve his footwork, which we've been saying. That was something we said in our initial cast. Obviously he gets bumped off. He got to work on his strength. He gets bumped off a little too easy. In fact, there was a turnover he had where he put the ball behind his back, and the defensive player kind of bumped him, and he lost the ball completely. So there's certain things he needs to work on, but I think his upside is a lot higher than I thought. A lot higher than I thought. I mean,
yeah, he impressed me.
The rewatch actually was more impressive than the first initial watch. Yeah. And the highlights don't really do him justice because that dude is sharp. And he's 19. He's 19, man. It's crazy. 19-year-old as sharp as he is. To be honest with you, his stats weren't too different than Wemby in the playoffs in France. And to be frankly honest with you, his stats aren't too different than Wemby in the summer league. I think he's a lot better than people think. I think he's a lot better than I thought for sure. I'm very real when it comes to the Hawks. Yeah. I get a lot of hate from Trae Young fans because I love Trae, but I tell it like it is. Once in a generation on ball player, terrible ball player, horrendous defender. I tell it like it is, and they hate that. They think that, hey man, but he's so good on the ball. But even on the ball, there's issues. He doesn't know he can't run an offense. I mean, he can run a pick and roll. He can run a pick and roll, and he can carry your offense to great offensive ratings because I don't think there's a single player I've ever seen in the NBA that's as good as him in the pick and roll. Some people are gonna say, I love Steve Nash. Some people are gonna be like, I love this. No, Steve Nash is nowhere close to Trae Young on the pick and roll. Yes, Steve Nash is way better at point. He's a way better point guard than Trae Young. Chris Paul is a way better point guard than Trae Young. But in regards to that pick and roll,
being able to score and dish it consistently,
there's nobody like
Trae. Game open.
There's nobody like Trae. Trae. There's a reason why the Hawks went to the Eastern Conference Finals with a squad that wasn't like there wasn't nobody on that squad that was in the top 50 other than Trae.
Yeah,
and Trae carried
just
them
the right pieces. Just the right pieces.
Trae was winning. Trae was winning like 10 games in a row in the regular season that year with Tony Snell and Solo starting playing 30 minutes plus. It was crazy, bro. It was real crazy. But I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I think Versace impressed me a ton. I did not think when he drafted him that he was going to be a guy that could average 18 points a game. I kind of felt like 18 points a game might be like right there where it's going to be. After really kind of watching him play, 24 games is going to be easy for him. It's going to be easy, especially like with Trae, with like Trae, the way he moves. It's going to be easy for him to score like 24 a game. It's just that is he going to do it consistently? Probably not. But that being said, so I think he could get to 20 even as a rookie. So, yeah, he's definitely one of my favorites now for Rookie of the Year. I think he's a way better offensive player than I thought he was. The shooting, I think it's going to be a little bit inconsistent. I think we're looking at 35% three-point shooter. He's going to be at 40% catch and shoots. But, with the self-creation stuff, he's probably going to be closer to like 30, 31.
Yeah.
And I think as he gets older and as he gets stronger, he's probably going to be around like 38 to 40. But his strength is really that his scoring in the paint. Like that dude got nice touch. He can finish with either the left or the right. He can post up.
He's big, bro. Like
physical. Like I didn't realize he's so physical. He's a 2. He's a two. He's like a two guard. Bro,
Yeah,
nice, man. Bro, real nice.
yeah, yeah. And
Yeah,
I mean, your boy. I mean, putting him next to what Bobby, and I mean, hey, y'all cooking
I
with
don't even
something.
like. I don't like the
So
idea of
what?
him
So
next to
what
Bogey.
about your?
I like the idea of him next to Daniels. Him and Daniels and
Oh, I
Trey.
forgot all about Dyson Daniels.
That's
Yes,
what I love
yes, that's
because
a great defensive lineup.
that's not only is it a great defensive
And
lineup
Jalen Johnson.
and Jalen, yeah, JJ.
Yeah,
Now
yeah.
Atlanta got to still fix that center position. That's still the big issue with the Hawks.
What's going on with that? I don't know what's going on.
We'll go into it in another pod, but let's just
Yeah,
let's focus on these rooks for now.
yeah,
I would say this, man, with that three, Trey, Daniels, and Rasache, you're talking about guys who well let's remove Trey from that. But with Daniels and Rasache, you're talking about guys who are plus movement player, off ball movement players. You know, Daniels can play on the ball, off the ball, but Daniels can also really pass it. Daniels is a great decision maker. That's
I
one of
think
his
he's a
biggest
better
strengths.
offensive. He's a better offensive player than he showed in New Orleans.
We also have enough
I
shooters.
think McCollum was a little bit ball dominant. Brandon Ingram was a little bit ball dominant. Zion, so like he's gonna have more of a chance, especially when Trey is off the floor to like
Well, it's gonna be Trey ball. It's gonna be Trey ball. But here's the thing: Trey ball isn't bad. Isn't bad. It's just that you don't get a lot of great touches as perimeter players. You get you either get wide open threes, you either get these catch and shoot open threes, or you get these throws where it's like he's passing you the ball, but like you kind of have to react to it, but you don't necessarily get like in rhythm. But that being said, Dyson can work in that. He's fine with that situation. He's fine in that particular situation. So I think that you're going to see a lot of the movement, the cutting. Dyson's going to be cutting. Dyson's going to see Rasache cutting. Trey's going to obviously see it. Oh man, it's going to be the offense is going to be way better this year. I think we're a top 5 offense when you start Daniels, Trey, and Rasache. It's going to be a top 5 offense because people are going to play us completely. They're going to be shocked when they play us this year because it's not going to be.
That's a running team. This is
going to be
a.
They can get out and run. And offensively, and we're just talking about offense. We're not talking about defense. We're just talking about offense. Everybody's moving. No one's stationary. Trey is, of course, but
I would start a Kongwu.
Well, that's what some people want to do, but I'm afraid.
If you want to get up and down,
I'm afraid the size.
Y'all got the same issue. Y'all got the same issue that we had coming into the off season, where it's that big, man. Like you just got to find that big that can set screens, rebound, block shots. I mean, I know Capella was, did y'all keep Capella? He's still on the roster?
He does it, but the issue with Capella is the limited range,
Yeah. So,
but Atlanta.
My boy Larry Nance.
Yeah, we got Nance. We got Nance now too.
Yeah, that might be a good fit too.
But
it's gonna be interesting to see what y'all do.
It's gonna be a hard offense to stop, man, because of the movement. And then you got to think now. That second unit is going to be some. You got Atlanta second unit. You haven't had to deal with Atlanta second units since what the year we had. What was it? The 2K16 was out. What year was that? 2015, 15, 16. That was the year we had Tim Hardaway. Yeah, we had Corver, but we had Tim Hardaway come off the bench. Dennis Schroeder, I think, was come off the bench that team. Yeah, we had Schroeder off the bench. Tim Hardaway Jr. That was like Atlanta's bench that year was dominant. I think they were the one bench in the NBA. This year, Bogey,
have a chance. Yeah,
Kobe, Bogey, Hunter, Okongwu. I don't really know. I mean, Nets probably at the 4 if we don't trade him.
Yeah,
that's a cold bench. That's a cold.
Y'all got a lot of nice pieces. I think people
sleeping on us, bro.
People sleep on the fit. Like the fit for all of those players is phenomenal. People gonna sleep on that, but I like the fit of those players together.
They're looking for all-star names. They're looking for all-star names.
Yeah,
but I think Rasache is going to be that person. That's going to be that guy, because maybe not this year, but it wouldn't surprise me in year 2. He's our best player.
Yeah,
in year 2, it's like he's clearly our best player. It's Rasache. And even though Trey is our face,
and that development, just like the style of play in the NBA, I think like it's tailor made for a player like him to just get to a point where they control the tempo of the game and they manipulate the tempo of the game with ease. We see that a lot from these French players that come into the league. They come over and they probably won't as prolific of scores in the league that they were in, but then they come over here and it's just like.
Well, but we saw we saw with this in the game. We like I said, the Ronnie Brewer element. We didn't really see this in France. Like we saw it maybe like once or twice every now and then, but like in the NBA, it's a lot more space. And in space, he attacked that rim like he was a monster. Like to be frankly honest with you,
long. Man. I didn't know he was that big. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. He's much bigger than what I gave credit for.
He's a big dude. Like yes, he's skinny, he's lanky, but he's broad. He got broad shoulders. Dude ain't gonna be small.
Yeah,
he's not gonna be small. Like he's just lanky, but he's not small. And he's kind of strong. He's not weak. Like he does have the one thing is I noticed you can bump him off with his legs, but you're not really bumping him off with the upper body. Yeah. And that's something that caught me off guard was how strong his upper body was. His legs could be stronger. But I mean, I think you can fix that here.
Yeah, he'll be fine,
Jason Tatum had that issue.
Man, you got Kevin Durant who made a living off bullying people and getting his shot off, and he couldn't lift a toothpick. So
actually, that's a wrong statement. Yes, he was like that in the combine, but like I saw a video of Kevin Durant bench pressing like maybe 2 years later, and he was bench pressing close to 300 pounds.
That's cap. I feel like
it's real. It's real. I seen it in my own 2 eyes. Like, dude was literally bench pressing, like, and it wasn't fake plates. It was real.
Kevin Durant, I will challenge you bench press. 300 pounds for Kevin Durant.
Yeah, it had to be like 285, bro.
Sheesh. Okay, Kevin.
And he caught me off guard. Like Kevin's strong, man.
It's easy to build strength, though, man. Like when you actually put the time in, bro. Yeah, when you actually put the time in, and you that big, that lanky, that functional strength, like it's easy to build that up when you just put the time in. So I don't think Versace will have a problem at all doing that. What about your other rookie though? Nikolai Dorisic, who I love. I got one play that I'm gonna show while you go in and talk a little bit about Nikolai. It was a play. He had a dunk in the game that I really liked. So,
Landry Fields loves talking about this thing called Hawks DNA. And that's a beautiful dunk.
Oh my goodness,
that's a beautiful dunk. And that dunk's it's harder than people think it is to do that because ultimately that means you have to handle contact. Look right, okay. Yeah. So right here, he deals with contact, but it doesn't phase him. It doesn't phase him. Star recovers. If I'm not mistaken, I think is that Champagny? Is that let me see who's that recovers at the end? No, that's number 19.
That's the guy from Florida State. I forgot his name.
Yeah, but this takes a lot of when it comes to in terms of athleticism, strength, physical strength, and his mental strength. Jerusic is one of the better players in the draft in those areas.
Yeah,
like I literally seen him, like Sarr tried to deal with this dude. Sarr ended up going backwards, whereas Jerusic didn't get phased, and then he made like Covington. Then he made Carrington fall, but like dude's strong, man. Dude is strong, bro. Like dude is really strong.
I'm sorry, but
right.
Yeah, I love his functional strength. His playmaking. Oh, that pass! Oh my lord, that's a beautiful pass.
But he has some passes that didn't even get assists that were just like ooh.
Yeah, that they did.
He has good vision.
Yeah,
he has good vision. I will say though, his basketball IQ is high, but it's not super high because there was 3 times that Versace hit him for a give and go, and he just couldn't read it. And it just tells you I don't think he was comfortable in that situation. But giving him experience, giving him comfort with that, he would do well in it. But the guy was, he was causing all types of issues in the first quarter. And then Washington made some adjustments and he started struggling a little bit. But that being said, his IQ. I mean, not his IQ, his mental strength, his physical strength, his you know his toughness. Man, that dude had no business being in the second round in regards to that.
Yeah.
That being said, his skill level, there's still things that he thinks he can do that he can't quite do yet. It's very much like he compares himself to Anthony Edwards. He says, "I'm a taller but less athletic Anthony Edwards," and
Yeah,
I
that
kind of
makes
see what he's
sense.
talking
I
about. I
see
kind of see what he's talking
it.
about because Anthony used to do the same. Like, let me be honest with you. Anthony was garbage when he was drafted, but Anthony was super talented. He had
Yeah.
great physical strength. He had his athleticism was world class, of course. I mean, I compared him to John Wall, but I said he
Yeah.
was like the John Wall of twos. But I said what's better for him is in that position, you rather have that because that position is more athletic based in point guards.
Yeah.
And I mean, this kid is. I can see why people had him in the lottery. Some people had him in like the top 10, and they felt
Yeah.
strongly about it. And I
I
can
don't
see
remember.
why. It's just he's not an NBA player right now. He's not a pro,
Yeah. He
but
was.
he is somebody that in 4 years he could be somebody. He can be somebody in 4 years.
Yeah, he was on my board.
Oh,
Do
there
I
he is,
have him on my board? I
35.
have 35 on my board, so that's not bad. That's not bad. I definitely I gave you guys a what on my I gave you guys a B plus. I think I would definitely change that grade to an A. Um,
Mm-hmm.
after seeing because you guys are a big team. I had no idea those guys were that big. Like you know how you read the height and
Yeah,
you read the measurements, but then when you see them in the game, you're like, sheesh, these guys like Duracich is about 6'7", you know,
6'7",
Rasacher is about
6'10"
6'10". Like
with shoes. Yeah,
then you got Dyson Daniels,
who's
Larry
six? Who's
Nance,
6'8"?
a bunch of height. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So and
and
then
Jalen's about
Bogey's
6'9".
6'5".
Bogey's
Bogey's
six
six
six.
five.
Bogey's
He's
6'6"
six
with shoes
six.
on. With shoes on.
Wow.
Yeah.
DeAndre Hunter, like it's y'all
DeAndre
big
6'8".
size.
DeAndre 6'8". And he got a 7'2" wingspan. Like this is gonna be
Sheesh.
people are sleeping on the Hawks. I mean, I hear people joking about the Hawks, sleeping on the Hawks, and
I
the
like
Hawks
that.
just had a bad fit last year. Like it was a lot of bad fits,
Yeah,
and that's what really kind
that
of
married thing didn't really work out.
it
Didn't
didn't.
work out, but
I,
it
I I
was
told him it wasn't going to work out. I literally got cussed out by my own fan base. Talking about you don't want another star to play with Trey. You don't want another star. Come on, Soups. You always talking this. You always like you're never happy with these things. I'm like this is bad. It's not going to work. And like
it's not a good
yeah,
fit.
exactly. And Dyson Daniels is somebody that was high on my draft board. I had him tied for 4th overall prospect in his draft class. And like,
Yeah,
let me tell you what I wrote on him. Let me tell you what I
you
wrote
can
on him.
share it if you want.
Oh, you know
Yeah,
what? Yeah,
you
I'll
can
share it
share it.
with you guys. Give me a second, okay? Just let me
This
find it
is
real quick.
Dyson Daniels. Dyson Daniels came out in 20. When did Dyson Daniels come out?
Um,
2020?
he's in his 3rd year, so I think he came out the same.
2021? 2021?
Yeah,
Yeah,
is it was
yeah.
2021? I thought it was 2022. I think it's 2022.
2022?
No, it can't be because he would be yeah. You're right, 2021. No, you're absolutely right. That's
Because
correct.
I thought he was his film from Australia gave me Lonzo Ball vibes. Like, but
Hmm.
with
That was my
better
initial comparison
mechanics.
for him. Was like Alonzo Ball,
For
but
real?
yeah.
That's crazy that I called
But
that out.
I didn't think he was as good. But
And
I thought
I promise I didn't
yeah.
read Ken's scouting report. It just
No,
happened that
that
way.
wasn't it when he became a prospect. That was it before. This is my review of him. Dyson Daniel combo guard. I love this kid more than some others. Some will say his ceiling isn't that high, but I disagree to a degree. High floor, high ceiling. He doesn't have a traditional all-star potential, but he has championship potential with his style of play. I compare him to a bigger Derek White, good playmaker, high basketball IQ, but feel for the game is improving, meaning that he felt the game well in certain areas, but certain areas he didn't. He can play on or off the ball, excellent decision maker, elite rebounder, always locked in, impacts the game, all around the stat sheet, and all good on the tape. This kid is so much more than traditional role that you may ask for. Meaning, like sometimes you put people in roles and they just kind of do it. He can do a lot more. He might not be an all-star, but but he's someone like Mikal Bridges, and this is Mikal a couple years ago, not the Mikal that we know now. He's who's turned
Yeah.
himself into an
Took
all
that
star.
leap. Yeah.
Yeah, that I think is a stud. He doesn't have Bridges' floor, but I would say he has White's floor. He just needs to shoot better, but the potential is there for him to be a good shooter. Comp bigger Derek White. I was sold on the kid. I loved him. I actually had him fourth overall prospect. In fact, if I even go, I can't remember exactly who was my what draft class was this? Dyson Daniels was in the draft class with if I remember right, wasn't that the same draft class like like uh what's that kid? That kid that played for Arizona, but he's from Canada.
Nice.
Um
No, he's from
Shaden Sharp was in this draft too. Yeah, what's his name?
is he from
Mathurin.
Italy?
Mathurin. Remember Mathurin was
Oh
in that
no,
class?
Mathurin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mathurin was in
I
that
was thinking
class.
the little Italian guard. What's
hmm
his name? I forgot
Shaden
his
Sharp was in this class. Shaden Sharp was in this class as well. Oh, you know what? This was a Shaden Sharp class. So that basically meant I had Keaton Murray. My top three was Keaton Murray. No, was it Keaton Murray? Yeah, Murray. Murray that plays with you, Sacramento San Antonio. Was it Ivy in this draft?
Sacramento. The
Was
Murray
Ivy in
that
this
played with
draft?
Sacramento. Jaden Ivey, I believe, was in that draft.
I could have swore he was. Let me see. Let me check this draft. You know what? Yeah. So my top four that year was Banchero, Chet, Jabari Smith, and Keegan Murray. So that was my top four. My top three was Jabari, Chet, and Apollo, and then Murray was tied for four with Daniels. With Daniels. No, it can't be. It can't be. Let me check this again, man.
This
This
the
this
one with
can't be
Jalen.
accurate.
This the draft
Yeah,
with Jalen Williams, Jalen Duran,
yeah.
yeah, Mark Williams, AJ Griffin, Tari
I'm gonna
Eason,
yeah.
Jake
Let me show you
LaRavia.
guys. Let me share with you guys the overall link because I have an overall link of this. This is 2022. There it is. Okay. All right.
You want me to? You
Oh,
can
you got no.
reshare.
So in reality, they should have been five. Okay. In reality, it should have been five. All right. Let me share. Let me share this, guys, with you guys real quick. All right. So this one right here is yeah. So in reality, it should have been five. Yep. So I had Ivy, Holmgren, Smith, and Banchero tied for one. My comparison for Ivy was I said that he's like a Russell Westbrook with a jump shot, but a Julius Randle like playmaker with limited vision. He hasn't quite developed into that yet, but then again,
Who
he's in
was that?
Detroit.
Oh, Jaden
Ivy,
Ivey.
yeah.
Yeah.
Chet, I compared him to Larry Sanders with elite offensive skill. Is a boom or bust as a boom or role player prospect. He could be the best in his class if he booms. And we've seen this year he boomed. And a lot is also where you go. You know, he went to OKC, so they have a lot more structure there. So,
They don't. Hey, they don't know about Larry Sanders, man. VCU legend, man.
mm-hmm.
If he could have kept his mental together, man, he would have been special.
Larry Sanders was a special defender, special
Yeah.
shot blocker, one of the best shot blockers I've seen in the NBA. In fact, Sar kind of showed some of that.
And he played with Giannis for a little bit. Him and
He
Giannis would have
did,
been a force. They would have been a force to be
yeah.
reckoned.
But he was kind of already mentally out of it by the time Giannis came.
Yeah.
Like he was strong like in 2011, 2012. Like he was strong in the early 2000s where he was like there was a time I thought Larry Sanders was one of the top five center in the league. For me,
Mm-hmm.
I was a big Larry Sanders fan. But
ECU,
yeah.
I was a huge fan.
As
But
far as Jabari, I compared Jabari, John Collins with elite power forward measurables. Not as skilled in the post as JC was as a prospect, but can shoot with high end variance like Tyler Hero, highest floor in the class. And to be honest with you, Jabari, it's not that Jabari hasn't lived up to potential. It's just that he still. I don't think there's a great fit yet, and I think that's what they're working on right now with Houston is a fit. And
he
I know
played
that
well to
Jabari,
end the season. He played well to end the season. He averaged like well over 10 rebounds.
And he's been getting a lot of praise this summer. Like he played for the U.S. select team, and they said he's been a stud. Like people think he's going to break through this year. And then Paulo, I said Paolo's a less athletic Chris Webber with a lot more skill as a prospect. He's nowhere close to as explosive as C Webb at Michigan, but he makes up for it with exceptional skill. He has more offensive jumbo wing skill than I expected, which is true. I mean, I think that's pretty accurate when it comes to Paolo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So essentially, this class, I was pretty much really high on those guys, and then I was high on this next tier. And the person that kind of jumped out of nowhere for me was Jalen Williams, and
Yeah.
he was somebody that I was big time on. And I guess the big failure for me would be AJ Griffin, who Atlanta ended up drafting. He showed real promise year one, but last year he just I don't know he just to me I think he there's some I think he lost some athleticism coming from his he had good athleticism for year one. But year two, it's like he lost a lot of athleticism, and we never saw him.
Them knee injuries and
The knee
yeah.
injuries, and I just think that it's like the overtime. It's like what happened to our boy. What's our boy that played for Portland Trailblazers?
Uh,
Um,
Brandon Roy.
Brandon Roy.
Yeah.
Brandon lasted a lot longer, but AJ, it seemed like AJ just athletically hit a cliff last year. And
Yeah.
we said, okay, it's mental. It's really mental. It's a lot of mental things going on. He's dealing with personal issues, you know. But I watched him play with Houston, and even though he had like a really nice dunk in a Houston game, he
He's
just
not
don't.
as athletic.
He's nowhere near as athletic as he was. And I think that maybe he just physically has regressed.
Yeah.
And it happens. I mean, we've seen this happen to other NBA players. I mean, I don't know if you remember this player played for the Hawks named Dion Glover. It was a long time ago, but
Yeah.
Dion, it seemed like the best athletic version of Dion we had was at Georgia Tech, and
Yeah.
so it happens, man. Sometimes people get injured, and the injury lingers, and you
Yeah.
don't really see you don't really see it them drop onto seasons later.
Yeah. That's kind of what happened to Xavier Tillman as well.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's still pretty skilled defensively and things, but coming out of Michigan State, I thought he was going to be a lot more athletic, dunking on people. But sometimes that athleticism just fades. We got about 7 minutes, so I want to go through. I want to go through and talk a little bit about some of our favorite guys from this draft class and how you feel about their debut. Kind of like a speed round. I
Mm-hmm.
know a top guy. This guy was top 10 on my board, and he was top, you know, 4 on your board. I think Reed Shepard had a really good debut. How'd you feel about Reed Shepard's debut, man? Shut a lot of
This
people up.
this is what my personal opinion is he's going to get he's going this is more like a showcase really in reality for him, but this is what he was. This is what he showed on tape. Like when he gets a chance to actually run the show, which he didn't a lot at Kentucky, he was actually running pick and rolls better than anybody on that squad. He was fluid with it. He can score off the pick and roll. And I really think people kept focusing on his isolation ability and saying his ISO's not that good. I'm like, don't worry about that. Look how he does when he got a screen.
Yeah,
Look
yeah,
at how he does when he got a screen. And
and
then
that
once he gets a rhythm,
range.
and with that range, you got to respect the range that he got. And I think just people just didn't understand the level of offense he is. Like,
Yeah,
and on top of that, possession by possession, he's for a 19-year-old, it's ridiculous. Like he's still his awareness is still kind of low, but in regards to his feel for the game, it's
yeah,
exceptional. And I mean, I said it before. I thought he had the potential to be the best offensive player in the draft. Um, I I think he went to the right situation. He's going to be able to come off the bench for a couple years until FBV is gone. And once FBV is
yeah,
gone, it's his show, and Houston's
yeah,
going to go to another level. And
yeah.
so I feel bad for you guys in Memphis because they're going to be a team you got to deal with in about a couple years.
I'm not worried
And now
about them.
they nothing now
I'm
for you. They
joking.
nothing now for you, but they're gonna be a
Yeah,
problem in the
they could
future.
they could potentially be a problem for sure. What about your boy Terrence Shannon? I'm just calling out random names that I thought had
Terrence
impressive
was six on my
debuts.
board. I thought he was fifth on my board, but he's actually sixth.
T-
Connect was fifth.
who
Terrence Shannon.
he was 6 on your board? Oh my
Yes.
god, that's pretty cool. He
And
was what was on my board? 26 on my board. Yeah,
I
had a little
just
questions.
I
Had a
mean
couple questions, but
my questions
perfect fit for him.
my questions were simple. It was just, did he do it or did he did it? He didn't do it. So, that was my
Facts.
question. Other than that, I loved him. I compared to Mitch Richmond. I always thought he was just a player that was sensational. I couldn't believe people didn't have him that's high on the board as I did. I felt like the only
Yeah,
people that agreed with me on him was like NBA draft.net. Like they had him high too.
yeah,
They refused to drop him. They're like, we love him. We're not changing
yeah,
our mind. And they even compared to Mitch Richmond, which is my comparison for him. But I just love the way he scores. I love his physicality. I feel like it was going to translate in the NBA because everything he does, it's his IQ, his feel. He can shoot the midi. Um, I just like him, man. I just like him a lot.
yeah,
He went to Memphis.
yeah,
He went to Minnesota too. That's crazy.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
that means
That's a good
Minnesota's
fit.
Minnesota's not going to get no drop off on that because that was a
Yeah,
fear of Minnesota. It was like they're going to lose some guys. Like that bench was going to
yeah.
drop off. Nope, not anymore.
He's ready. He's ready
Yeah,
day one.
he's
What
day one.
about Dalton Connect? He put together a couple good performances. Dalton Connect, how you
I'm
feel about that?
I'm
And
still
you
not super
still
sold on
were,
the fit.
yeah, that's what I was about to ask you. You said you weren't sold on the fit,
I'm still
but in
not sold on
terms of his
the fit.
performance, I mean, it
As far as
seems like him and
like
JJ. It seems like him and JJ have a really good relationship, and that always bodes well for young players when the coach is investing in you. And JJ said the moment he drafted him, he started drawing plays up for him immediately. So
he has a
I
long
think,
movement like JJ. He has long movement just like JJ. So that
yeah,
JJ sees a part of. Now JJ can't score like Connect. JJ can't
yeah,
score like Connect. Like
yeah.
Connect
He
can
can't
score.
get
He can
it
put
in
the
what he
ball that
want
day.
like
He
that.
gets slow. He big. He physical. He can take on contact. Man,
Yeah,
Connect is a special offensive player talent, man. I mean, I compare him to Dan
yeah,
Marley. Um, year three, year 3, you're going to see him kind of be like a pseudo all-star. And because he's a
yeah,
Laker, he's going to be hyped to believe that, like, hey, he's great. He's how they hyping him Austin Reed, like he like some big time big shot. Oh, now
yeah,
that this guy's legit, like this guy actually is worth that kind of hype at some point.
yeah,
I just don't love the fit right now. I mean, as of right now, the Lakers, they still don't have a true point guard.
yeah.
And I don't like the
That's
fit
true.
with him and Russell. I just don't like the fit. That's all.
Yeah, I feel you.
Uh,
I
and
feel
that,
you.
but other than that, as far as preseason, as far as summer league goes, I mean, Dr. Connect is he's the truth. I mean, he's my number
Yeah,
5 player on my board.
yeah,
I mean, I wasn't shocked that he fell to the Lakers because I told you in the previous pod that he's older and people, they look at older players as like no potential, and it's so stupid to me because with NBA player development being what it is, everybody can develop nowadays. This is not the 90s. Like,
yeah,
y'all, this is not the 90s. Like,
yeah,
did y'all not learn anything from Atlanta, the 2000s Atlanta, 2010s Hawks? Like, you can
yeah,
develop at an older age. It's just you got to put the time and effort and coaching and initiative to player development.
yeah, for
You got to
sure,
want it to happen. And you got to have the right fit. And
for
so
sure.
I don't know. I'm impressed with all those guys. Everybody in my top 6, with the exception of Cleveland, has had a good game. Cleveland, I don't
Yeah,
know what's
yeah.
going on with my boy.
I wanna shout out Isaiah Collier, who had a good game. Khalil Ware had a good game. My guy who I have
He had
higher
a
than
good game
most
today
people.
too.
Yeah, and my guy who I had higher than most people, he was 14 on my board. Bobby Clintman had a good game as well. But we're gonna talk more about some of these other guys at a later date. We out of
Mhm.
time for today. But next episode, we're gonna let some of these summer league games, take some players some time to get in a little rhythm, and we'll talk more about those players as well. But this has been King Ken and Coach Von's show. I'm Coach Von.
And I'm King Kid.
We'll see
Peace.
you.